All right, what it is, we are back for the biz. Welcome to Plunked, the show where we celebrate two teams in one city. I am one half of the dynamic duo, Emilio Bucks, and my co host.
I am the other half, Kristen Petite.
All right, and I'm looking at the game here, Kristen. The Cubs are trying to rally here. Get your rally caps on.
Please.
Christopher Morel. What solo home run. Yeah, I thought it was a 2-run jack, but
No.
bringing the score to 6-2. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
They used up all their runs the first game.
Yeah, that happens.
All the time to the Cubs.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. So what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Staying away from downtown. We got the NASCAR here in town. I don't know why. Why is NASCAR here in the middle of downtown Chicago? Do you know? I mean, money, but
Yeah, it's just something fun. Like I saw a simulation of the track. It looked interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like a video. You drive the track or whatever, see what it's like.
okay,
It was just something different.
something different.
Yeah.
Now, does this go under Lori Lighthouse's tenure?
Well, no, but Lori Lightfoot, yes.
Lori Lighthouse, Lightfoot Lighthouse.
I don't know if they talked about it before she got here, but she was part of the group that was doing it.
Oh, okay, got you. And did I hear correct? They signed a 3-year deal, so this will be back.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought I heard something like
It
that.
might be. It brings there were some jobs, like people got to work down there, little part-time jobs, one day.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, and it was they did some things in the community with young people. So like Bubba Wallace, I think he was on the South Side. He met with a lot of young Black and brown and some white kids. Everybody was there. So, but especially for like young Black and brown kids who really don't pay any attention to NASCAR, really, they got to see someone who looked like them. Especially young Black kids, they got to see someone who looked like them. And he spent time in the community, so that was good.
All right, that's a good positive way of looking at it.
Now, for people that was driving them crazy with the traffic, well, you knew for months.
It didn't really bother me. It's not like I was going downtown.
Right. But there were still people like, oh my gosh, well, why did you plan anything downtown? You knew for months this was happening. Yeah. Like this should have been that weekend that you didn't go downtown unless you absolutely had to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel for you if you had to.
Right, but if you didn't, I think Hassan went down there and he was fine.
Oh yeah.
And he said, they had a lot of cops and sheriffs, so they were making sure.
I'm sure it was well secured.
Yeah, they weren't going to get embarrassed nationally.
No. I'm sure it was well secured.
Yeah. There were no teen takeovers on the NASCAR racetrack.
Well, no, not with, especially with that NASCAR crowd. That would not have flown.
Right, and then if they signed the deal that you're talking about, and it was going to be national and all that, they're like, no, we can't get embarrassed. They talk about us enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to look that up. It might have been one of those things I completely made up, but I thought that's what I heard.
It might be true.
Yeah, I thought I heard that on the score.
Because at first I thought maybe this was kind of how they did that outdoor hockey. I thought maybe this is something that would move from city to city. But maybe
right.
Have something. They may already have something.
Speaking of something that, kind of back onto baseball, or we haven't even touched baseball, but are they doing the Field of Dreams game this year?
Who did it last year?
The Cubs and
Cincinnati? I don't know. No, I think that was the last one.
Ah, okay.
I think that because I think they're renovating. There we go. Oh, okay. I think they're doing some renovations to the field.
Gotcha.
So, I guess they'll go back eventually, but I don't think there was one this year. Yeah, you were right. They have a 3-year contract in which the city receives $500,000 this year $550,000 in 2024, and $605,000 in 2025. The city will receive $2 per ticket sold and a percentage of net commissions on concessions and merchandise sales.
Okay.
NASCAR is spending $50 million to race in downtown Chicago.
Wow, 3 races in 3 years. All right, well.
And maybe it won't rain next year.
Yeah, that really kind of put a damper on
they
it.
had they had
Definitely didn't need to do
concerts
that.
and everything. There was a lot planned that couldn't happen.
Right. Interesting. Massive pilot collects the field in turn 11. Yeah, and then they had some accidents cut from the rain too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so how about some baseball? Some very exhausting, up and down, uninspiring, hopeful baseball all over the city.
Disappointing. Terrible.
Terrible. Well, let's start with the Cubs. Let's try to start on a good note, shall we?
Okay. All right.
All-Stars. We got 3 Cubbies going to the All-Star game. That's pretty cool.
That is. I kind of wasn't expecting the Swanson one. I don't know if that's on reputation or I don't
Injury.
Maybe, because do you feel like it was All-Star? I don't know.
I wouldn't have had, I mean, defensively, I would say yes.
Yeah.
But because as bad as, he's hitting the league average, I think, right? Isn't he?
I mean, I guess that
one was a bit of a surprise, but
but I was expecting the Stroman and Steele, so I'm happy for both of them. They're the best 1-2 punch for pitching in the league. Like their ERA is spectacular. Their combined ERA. Stroman had a rough one yesterday, but he also had 0 help from his offense. They gave it all to Steele the night before, but it's good. It's for Stroman, another reason like you really don't want to sign me.
Yeah.
I'm in the top 5 because I don't know where he is now after yesterday, but I'm in the top 5 in ERA. I am your ace, your 1A out of the 1A, 1B. And for your pitching staff, I've been durable. I had the blister problem, but I'm still durable. I am very involved in the community, very involved with the team. I'm very invested with these fans. I'm telling you, I want to stay here. And how often does that happen on a team that really isn't doing well and an all-star wants to stay? So this is just another thing for Stroman. It's another thing to say, okay, let me go. All right. And then
2.76 ERA.
Okay. So what is he like? 4th, 3rd, 4th? Let's see.
That part I don't know.
Let me see. I can find it real quick. But and Steele, the story of Justin Steele that just continues. He dropped. Wow, he dropped all the way to 8th. Yeah, dang. Okay, so he's top 10. And with the ERA.
You know how it is with the ERA. You get beat up one day.
Yeah, because he was like 3rd just yesterday. Yeah. But he'll have some good games again.
Yeah.
And it even though they were his men left on, you hope that your bullpen can come in and stop the bleeding. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the bullpen has been all right up until then, I guess. So Steele, like the story of Justin Steele, you saw some of it last year, but you didn't know it was gonna be like this. I don't think most people predicted this Justin Steele this quick this year. So, it's a positive. Swanson's the highest paid Cub ever, I believe. Not sure about
really?
That. Yeah, I think he's gotten the highest. He's gotten the highest contract, the largest contract ever.
Wow.
I think everyone else was getting like 3-year, whatever, but that 7-year, whatever he got. Yeah. So I guess he needed to make the All-Star game to justify. It's funny. I don't consider him the face of the team. And sometimes, you think he's the face. I know they use him as the face of the team, but I think your faces of the team are Stroman and Steele. I think
Definitely Stroman is
yeah.
I think yeah.
And then if you want to go into positions, okay, the steadiest, Swanson. But I think fans were excited because he was the big signing. I still sometimes think of him in the same light as I think of Carlos Boozer. You were really going for those others.
Consolation, right.
Yeah, but he is good.
Better than Ron Mercer. But
I like Swanson. I wanted Swanson and another one of the people. So it's nothing against Swanson. I didn't want them to stop after him.
Right.
But they did. But it's good news. And what has been just a deceiving, frustrating year.
They're just so hot and cold, up and down. Like, they have these really good stretches, and then they follow it up with a rough patch. But then, that's just that's the game. That's baseball, how it is, and with teams that are really mediocre at heart, like the Cubs or the Sox, who might even be less than mediocre at heart, consistency is always going to be an issue with them. Mm-hmm. They'll put some wins together, but they're going to put some losses together too. And we see that with both of these teams.
Yeah. And it's just hard to believe in them. Because they were going so well. And you'd be like, okay, they're showing something. They're showing something, and maybe the Cubs will want to either buy or stand pat, not just start getting rid of quality, good people to grow with or to keep building.
Right.
So you thought that they were going to feel that way, and they still may feel that way, but you can't have yesterday and today. Like, they're losing again. You can't, and you're losing to another below 500 team, and the AL awful Central, like
first place sub 500 team, by the way.
I know. I looked at the standings. I was like, whoa, no one's over 500. I mean, there's only 2 in the AL Central. But no one in the AL
Central. I mean, it's embarrassing.
I said, whoa, I didn't realize everyone had dropped.
Yeah, that's been like that a while, because
I had not.
Minnesota was in first place and under 500 for a good couple of weeks.
Jeez.
So Cleveland came in. I think Cleveland's still.
Let's see. Probably, especially after they win today.
Yeah.
And they won. Yeah, this will be 2 in a row. Yeah, and they were a half game behind Minnesota, but Minnesota lost today. So when they win today, they'll be a half game ahead of Minnesota at 41-42.
Tragic.
Unless the Cubs, which they won't, score 5 runs this inning.
Hey, anything can happen, right? Or not. Yeah, I mean, we take a look around the league at how some of these powerhouse divisions, like the AL and the NL East, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some about the East divisions that are always just stacked, and you got a team like the Red Sox, who are in last place and 13 games out. And they're 1 game over 500. It's like, well, they, obviously in this division, they'd be doing a lot better. It's unfortunate.
You talk about a team that didn't miss losing Dansby,
Atlanta, right?
Man, and they replaced him with someone that you never thought was going to be the star that he is.
It's like, geez, when you look at some of these totals. 56 wins, like, man, like the Sox might not get to 56 until like August.
Where are the Cubs that they're at? What do they have? 40. They
Hold
have 38.
on.
Oh, I'm sorry. They have 38 wins.
Oh man.
Arizona at 50. Ooh,
Uh,
Padres.
Texas.
All that money.
Texas with 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Padres, all of that money.
Money. And I don't.
We're on 38 wins, and then you look out east and at the Mets also, and for a lot of money and 19 games back.
Max Scherzer is willing to take a trade.
I bet.
He's like, this is not what I signed up for.
This is not what I signed up for.
And the Oakland Athletics are, what does that say, 28 games out?
Oh, and was dealing to the Sox.
It almost swept the Sox.
Almost swept them. Very close to a sweep.
Especially because they came back.
And we'll get to the Sox talk soon, but it's just.
Has it become, like on the radio, Dan Bernstein from The Score, he'll say things are fun bad. Has it started becoming fun bad for you yet, or is it still angry bad?
No, it's fun bad. It's just laughable.
Okay.
It's just laughable. And certain things you almost hope like it would have been funny for them to get swept today. Versus like angry when they were losing 10 in a row, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. Okay.
Like fun bad is almost like a bit of delirium is starting to set in about it, like because it's just July the 2nd today. Like I can't let them ruin the rest of my summer.
All right, we only get so much time of summer here in Chicago.
Well, it's all our asses over the seasons. Yeah.
That's
exactly
all you can do now.
Yeah, all you can do is laugh. Is like, look at this shit. Like, this is a shit show.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know. Where are we? Okay. So the big question is looming for all major league teams. What side of the coin do they land on, as a buyer or a seller? Where do the Cubs land, or where would you say right now? You've seen them win, you've seen them lose, and you're gonna see them win some more, and you're gonna see them lose some more.
I guess excuse me. I guess it depends on what's out there to buy. Okay, because they're not going to give up their top prospects for anybody, because they're not there where you can give up a top prospect for Aroldis.
Right.
They're not at that level, but there has to be some mid-level because according to all the experts, they've done a good job of rebuilding their farm system. Remember, I don't know who half the people are. The names I know are the main ones that people talk about, but they've done a good job of building their farm system. So they have some pieces that they should be able to give away to get some players. I think they should be buyers, even if it's for a really good. I think they should be buyers to set themselves up for next year. This division is still winnable. They're 5.5 out, and so it's still winnable. But even if you're not thinking you're going to win this year, I think you can still buy to get someone that will be there next year.
Mm-hmm.
Get a head start on who's going to be where, because they don't have a first baseman. I don't know. Maybe this Jared Young will work out, but they don't really have a first baseman, and they haven't all year.
Right.
They really don't have a third baseman, because even AJ Przinsky.
Nikki? You're not sold on Nikki?
They need a power hitting third baseman. Like AJ Przinsky yesterday on the broadcast brought it up, and we've talked about it before. There's no power on this. No consistent power is Chris Morel. Right. And he doesn't really even have a place, and it can't be third. He really should just be their DH, and then he can spell people once in a while. I know they kind of want to make him into a Ben Zobrist, but Ben Zobrist also played all his positions well. And I don't think you can say the same about Chris Morrell. He's not terrible, but they like AJ Brzezinski yesterday was saying like they need a Sammy Sosa. These were his words: the Sammy Sosa, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant. Like they don't have anyone that you really fear is gonna hit the homer, except for right now, Chris Morrell. He's the only one that you think, because he swings similar to Javi Baez. So it's that all or nothing type of swing.
Yeah. And you have Patrick Wisdom on the way back. I know he's not the answer
at all,
but he is a power option on the way back.
Yeah. I don't dislike him, but
I mean, he's not it. He's not.
He could be your off the bench power.
Yeah. He's not it. He is. You know, and I would think about, you know, what the Sox would do. I don't know.
Well, they are trying to make a comeback. They have 2 men on with 1 out. I'm looking at my phone, so it may be
like yours is quicker, of course.
Yeah, sometimes my phone is quicker.
My phone's always quicker than
the
TV.
Yeah, because even people who aren't streaming watching it, when they're watching on cable, I'll see stuff before other people, so I don't usually say anything. But I think they should be buyers. But if they keep losing, they'll sell.
Who would they sell though?
Marcus.
Oh yeah, I'm way behind.
Oh, you just saw top.
Oh, see, now that would be such a mistake, you know. But we talked about this ad nauseum, I think. Like,
yes, I don't want it to happen, but I think, because who would be? He would be good for someone. Drew Smiley, Kyle Hendricks.
The professor.
Because he's been pitching well.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants Tyone, so
not even the Cubs.
But you just can't put your team. You can't keep putting your fan base through this to get prospects that won't even be ready next year. So now, see, somebody did something. It just says in play runs. I don't know how many runs there are. Nico Horner did something. I gotta wait. Okay, Nico Horner single. So now it's 6-3.
Or 6-4.
It should be 6-4, but it still says 6-3. I think they were wrong about runs. The phone said in play runs, but I guess they stopped. So now it's just bases loaded. You'll see. You can tell me what it looked like. Because I got to wait for the person, whoever's on the other side typing.
Oh, infield hit.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. They must have automatically thought someone was going to score.
Yeah. It should have been an out, but they just, I don't know.
Oh, they messed it up.
Naylor didn't.
As we are sitting in silence watching this.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I thought Emilio was going to be right about you never know they could come back. Well, bases are loaded with 1 out.
Okay.
And Morrell is at bat.
Yeah.
He just go ahead and end this on one pitch.
He can end this on one swing. One swing to bat.
He has a 2-1 count. That would just cement his what he has brought to the fan base is a joy reminiscent of Javi Baez. He is not Javi Baez as El Mago, but he's Javi Baez of just extra. He's extra. He's
got flair. He's got style in his eyes.
He involves the crowd when he's doing something. He likes to celebrate, and that reminds you, and that reminds you of that and of many of the people on that team, even from 2015 on, the way they like to celebrate.
Agree. I agree.
Something has happened.
Okay,
maybe unless they lied.
Don't say anything yet.
Okay, I won't. I'll let you see it.
I still got a 2-1 count here.
I'll stop saying something happened.
Okay, all right.
So I'll keep talking. I'll keep talking while you watch. So I think you can watch while I finish on the fires and stuff. I those are the only people I could see them selling, because they're not going to sell Horner. They just re-signed Hap. They can't get rid of Seiya because they're going to try to use him to recruit Otani. And you can't get rid of Christopher Morel at this point. How much you really going to get from Mancini? How much are you really going to get for Gomes?
Nothing. You know what I mean?
So your only really sellers are your three of your pitchers.
Base hit up the middle. Cubs put 2 more on the board. 6-5. 1 out. Men on the corners.
I think Christopher Morel has driven in 3 runs today. See, he's like your main. He's played less games than all of them.
Yeah.
And he has more home runs. I think he's very close in RBIs and run scores as the top people, and he's played less games. And they said they couldn't find a spot for him on this team.
Yeah.
DH.
Yeah. I mean, did they forget that they have a DH now?
I don't know. It's like they were still thinking that Eric Hosmer was going to do it, or I don't know. But I want them to either buy or just do nothing.
I was going to say, like, that's the third option. It's like buy, sell, or do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Stand pat. And I wouldn't be mad at them for doing nothing.
Right. Me.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather them do nothing than to sell off what they have of value. Like, you're talking about Stroman or something like that. No. Yeah. I'd rather them just sit on it before they made a bad deal.
Yep. Because no one is going to give you a Stroman in return.
All right. The throw. Not in time. Tie ball game.
Yep. So you're not going to
I knew 5 minutes ago.
But I did not say anything this time.
Thank you. You just kept it moving. You just kept it moving.
So yeah, that's what I think. But the Cubs like to break your heart. So
of course, historically,
they'll sell. And then they'll be looking, we have a plan. You have nothing. You have a plan like all the rest of the leaders in this town.
Hola.
World travel.
Live from San Juan. It's Ruben.
Yeah, so.
What's up, bro?
I just have a feeling they're going to upset me greatly.
Think positive. I think they don't want to upset you. I really think they care enough that they don't want to upset you. It's not like the White Sox.
But you know what? Don't you sometimes wonder, as a fan of Chicago sports, why am I a fan of Chicago sports? Because these ownership groups.
It's the era still in which we grew up in. We're the last of our generation is the last of the fans who are fans because we live here. Sports has opened up so much more now, where it's like, if you're a fan of a team in California, well, you can watch all their games. Like, it wasn't like that for us growing up. We were growing up. This is the team that we had to watch. This is all that was presented to us, and this team and these players. Well, it's a lot different now for following generations now who are like Warriors fans or Lakers fans or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, but wait, you're from here. How are you? We can't fathom that. You know what I mean? But some of them, they grew up playing these video games where they, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is my favorite team to play with. So now this is just my favorite team, from playing Madden or whatever.
Because a lot, like you said, they've never seen a Chicago team win.
Right. That doesn't help.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, depending on how old they are, they saw the White Sox win in 2005, but they may have been young. They saw the Blackhawks win, but they may not be into hockey. So depending on what you're into. So some of them saw the Blackhawks win, some saw the White Sox, and some saw the Cubs. Right. But then they haven't seen anything since that. So now they're going to be fans of teams that are consistently good and at least make a run towards it, because our teams don't.
Exactly.
The Cubs after 2016, they were still decent, but like none of the other teams kept making runs. Like after the Blackhawks won there, then they didn't anymore.
Yeah.
And then after the Sox
3
won
and 6
there,
years was
yeah,
good. It's in the way they spread it out. They never
right,
got back-to-back chips,
yeah,
but they spread it
at
out,
least
which
they
was
spread it out.
at least they spread
So
it
that
out.
was good. And now they have new excitement, kind of like the Bears had new excitement when they got Justin Fields. Now the Blackhawks got
Mr. Connor Bedard.
Bedard, so they have them. So they have that excitement. Then you got the Cubs. Then you have the Bulls, the Cubs, and the White Sox. And the ownership, well, one person owns 2 teams and runs them both the same.
Similarly.
And then the Cubs are owned by, Ricketts.
The Wicked Ricketts.
Yes. So we don't know what they're doing. But anyway, I'm sorry. I gone off on the tangent. Right. What's my next topic?
We got the Super Sean, back in the building.
Big star on Football Night in America.
Yeah, we see you, fella.
Football Night in America. Yeah, big star checking us out.
Well, let's switch to something positive. Making his first All-Star appearance will be Luis Robert Jr. Jr. That's good to hear. Luis is having a really good season this year, batting at 276 with a 912 OPS. Has never hit more than 13 home runs in the season and is at 24 right now to go with 46 ribbies. So having a career year that we hope lasts. And the biggest thing with Luis is he's been healthy, and that's everything.
Congratulations to him.
We don't get many celebrity callers here, Sean. Not besides Deb.
Yeah, Deb's our MV plunker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but congratulations. That is a well-deserved honor. And you're right. The biggest thing is his health.
Absolutely.
You can see. We all saw it was there. We all know what was there.
Mm-hmm.
We just never got to see it because he couldn't stay on the field. So
could not stay on the field.
More to come. Now you just got to get some people around him to join the party.
When's Luis' contract up? He's locked in for a little while.
He did. They were able to get all of them signed at very team friendly contracts. I'm gonna look it up now. Let's see. Contract.
Yeah, so that's good news. That was great news coming out of the Sox camp today. We're used to seeing Tim go there. Not happening this year. He's had some struggles, but big ups to Luis Robert Jr.
It's always nice.
Going to, there was an argument that could have been made that he could have been starting. But
voted in.
I think everybody from Texas is starting.
Yeah. Base salary. I think he has a club. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2028. There's a club option, I think, starting in 2026.
Okay,
so he's here for
locked up for a while. Yeah. That's some good researching right there, Kristen. Appreciate that.
I almost couldn't find it. I was getting ready Deb, help me out.
You got the Excel.
Deb all the information for
right.
us.
Yeah, Deb is good with the production. With the production references and highlights as well. But moving on to now kind of the reality of the team, including Tim Anderson's slump. His struggle, he's barely hitting 230 now, although he did go 2 for 4 today. Sacrifice fly, stolen base. Seems to be possibly coming out of that really, really bad funk, but I don't know. You know,
He has to
is
be.
he hurt?
I
Is he
think he
hurt?
is.
Like I have to think.
Yeah.
Is he hurt mentally or physically or both?
Well, probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
He's had a rough year. He's come out and talked about his mental health. He's been a viral superstar for all the wrong
For
reasons.
all the wrong reasons. A viral superstar.
And then to top it all off, he's not playing well.
He is not playing
and
well.
offensively. So but you have to think he has to be hurt. Something has to be wrong with him. And they're just going to continue playing him. And then like I hear all you fans saying like, why is he batting so high in the lineup? Why is he taking away extra bats from better batters? So it's like, are they afraid since he's come out and said he's been feeling bad? Do they not want to make him feel any worse? Do they feel this is the best way for him to come out of his slump? Is for him to keep playing and keep trying. But
yeah, Pedro Griffo had some thoughts on that. We could let's take a look here.
Players that easy. It's not so much giving up on them. I have faith in them.
I don't know if there's any audio.
You know, at this time, I don't see a move. He's done it for a long, long time. You just don't take it away from him for 60 games or whatever it is. You just don't do that. In my opinion, he's always one swing away. I have faith in him. These are guys that have done this for a long time and they've been successful for a long time, and it takes a little more than what I've seen, and also my conversations are good with him, and I think he's gonna figure this thing out. I'm more looking forward for him to getting it right than for me moving him out of that spot. Put it that way.
okay.
That's
ready to vote of confidence.
Yeah, Sean. I wanted to play that clip before I posted your comment. Yeah, like that sounds like a man who is he's torn between doing right by the franchise player and trying to win games. It's like you can't always do both.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're trying to do? What is the end game here? Is it to win games by all costs? I think that's what I want in a manager, is somebody who's gonna put his team in the best position to win at all costs, regardless of egos or who's the face or who's such and such and all of that. And when you hear him talk, and he's almost overly sympathetic to Tim's plight, like, because if it is a mental thing, well, let's not forget a lot of that he brought on himself. So like, it's not about what you deserve and what you've done in the past. It's about what are you doing now to win games right now. He's paid to win games. Players' feelings should not be a part of the equation. Now, I'm not one who's willing to just give up on Tim just yet and say, people want him out of town and or want him benched. Like, I'm not saying all of that to bench the guy or demote the guy to Charlotte or anything like that. But yeah, like Sean mentioned, he needs to be batting 6th or 7th at this point. A guy can work himself out. Let him work himself out of this funk without the pressure of being of hitting number 2. That's a lot of pressure to say. You're looking at 4 or 5 at bats. I sat up there the other night and watched Tim take 4 at bats, 5 at bats. I'm sorry, in one game, 5 at bats, and 4 of them were strikeouts. Like, that was painful. Like, there's no way you're not. I don't feel like you're putting your guy in the best position to work himself out of the funk by like acting like there's nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there is something wrong, obviously, and there's no point in acting like there isn't. So now go about trying to fix it in a more productive way than just being like, oh well, he's fine. He's, that's Tim Anderson and da da da. It's like I just don't understand these guys. Like, you need a manager who's a leader of men, and you don't go in as a manager and become led by a player's feelings. And that's what I think we're looking at right now, Pedro Gaffal, like in this Tim Anderson situation. Ozzy said they don't have the guts to move him down in the lineup. And I think Ozzy's right.
Yeah.
And Ozzy would move him down.
A long time ago.
Long time ago. In a heartbeat.
Yeah. He would have sat a little while too.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing for Tim. If he is hurt, sit down, tell someone and sit for a little while. Heal. And then maybe you'll play better.
Right.
But you're not helping your team right now. It'd be different if he was hurt and doing something. You're not helping, you're hurting.
And I'm wondering, like, where would he be hurt? Is it the knee still? Because he's still stealing bags. And when he does get on base, which isn't often, but he's still stealing bags. So it's like,
did he have any type of upper body injury?
He had a shoulder thing, but that's been that happened while he was in the slump. So
never mind. Never mind. Maybe that's not it.
I have a lot of opinions on this topic, and I've gone from wanting him out of town for a second, like, because at one point I could swear he was throwing the game
against the Dodgers.
Against the Dodgers, I'm like, dude, are you throwing the game right now? Like what are you doing out there? Like the Black Sox or something.
Yeah,
shoeless Tim Anderson.
Been the face, and you remember like the league. Because remember, like the Sox, it was change the game. That was their slogan, and it was the flipping the bats and let's have some swag. They dress up Tony La Russa, and they had that, and Tim was that. Tim was that face for the Sox. Tim was we're getting ready to change this game. Here's this black man who's winning batting titles, and we're getting ready to change everything. And then all of a sudden. It stopped, and a lot of it is his own doing. He and Ryan Clark he did exactly. Like he and Ryan Clark can blame the social media, but you don't have to take those pictures.
You were in the pictures.
Yes, you don't have to get in the pictures to be posted. You also don't have to cheat on your wife. Let's start with that. Number one,
you don't have to do that.
You don't have to cheat on your wife, and then none of this part happens.
And then you definitely don't take pictures of yourself.
Pictures. On a plane, and then he had the thing in the beginning about the fans and media being kind of against them or whatever he said. I know I'm misquoting him. And so you do all that, and then you're garbage, and no one's used to this garbage. And so since he is bad, he doesn't have that swag, he doesn't have that confidence,
right?
And we're finding out that he's always had mental issue problems, and the team didn't help him. Maybe the team didn't know because you probably never showed it when you were going well. No one could tell that maybe you had a mental.
At this point, it's like you and everybody else, Tim. Everybody's got mental health issues. I mean, seriously, everybody's got something.
And like Dan Bernstein mentioned, I keep quoting him, and Lord have mercy. But he mentioned,
I like Bernstein. Go ahead.
He mentioned, I like him sometimes. He mentioned that because, when Tim Anderson in that interview mentioned about there aren't any black players. Well, you knew that when you decided to play baseball. Right. You knew you were most likely going to be the only black player, the Black American player. There's going to be the Dominicans, Cubans, like the Afro-Latino players, Afro-Latin players, however you want to say it. they'll be there. But you knew that when you started, so that's an issue now. Every black man who goes into baseball knows they may be the only one in that locker room. But there's so many other people.
Deb said Tim got 99 followers.
She was a main one.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem.
And so now, and he and his wife are getting back together. They're doing much better and all that. So it's time for him to get his life together. And maybe he is now. He almost hit that home run yesterday, that grand slam. And so maybe that feeling is going to bring him back. He got 2 hits today. They won. They need to string together some wins so they can start having fun again. Like they used to be a fun club. Yeah. Now they're just dry.
Well, losing dries it all up. That's for damn sure.
Losing dries it all up.
I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do hope he gets it together because he is somebody, and I have a Tim Anderson jersey, and I don't want him to go out like this. Like I still want to wear my Tim Anderson jersey.
He needs to get it together because we used to say it last year. As he goes, the team goes. Yeah,
he was really support. He has not stepped into the leadership role left vacant by Jose Abreu. We had really hoped that Tim would be the one to step up. And, that might be another issue that he's, not handling that so well. Or
not everybody can do it.
Not everybody is built for that. You know what I mean?
And we all assumed it would be him, but maybe it was unfair.
Yeah. I mean, it is an assumption.
Yeah, you assume when they've been there the longest, they've always done the most, they've always been the face, that they can be the leader. But just because they can be out there front and center and get, Chicago Magazine articles about he and his family, and like they were put out in front for everything. But that doesn't mean he can lead. He's probably one of those silent leaders, but now he's not even leading by example. So
yeah.
His thing is now like, kids, this is what you don't do.
A lot of questionable decisions there, Timmy.
Like, team, I'm going through this so you can see what not to do.
Absolutely. That does not help the team at all, though. And so here we are, going in an all-star break, sitting at a paltry 37-49. Only 5.5 games back.
Same amount as Cubs.
Are we buyers or sellers? I think it's a little complicated because I have a hard time believing Rick Hahn will get another reset. I have a hard time believing that. And for them to be sellers at the deadline, that would kind of infer that they're resetting under his tenure. I have a hard time believing it, mostly because I don't want to believe it. But it could very well be that they end up selling, resetting, and he gets another redo. It could very well be that. I just hope that it's not.
Do you think he'll get a chance to retool, but not rebuild?
I feel like, yeah, I think he'll get a retool before he gets fired. Because I think they have too many good pieces for a complete reset. I still think they have too many good pieces for a complete reset. Mm-hmm. Even though they have not been able to put it together at all. I think I really don't think Pedro Grifol is a good manager. I don't think that was the right answer. You saw them get Jerry's pick with Tony La Russa, and then Rick got his turn and got his pick. Now it's time for, I don't know, maybe Kenny needs to step in and make a pick. someplace in between LaRussa and Griff, a guy who is almost knows too much and was too old, versus a guy who is too inexperienced. I'm seeing just a lot of questionable moves, like if I have to watch him pinch hit for like Eloy in the 7th inning again, I'm gonna throw something at the TV.
Was Eloy hurt?
That he's done this before. He's pinch hitting way too early and taking away bats for guys who need at bats. He's trying to win the game in the 6th and 7th inning, and it's like, dude, it's 9 innings to the game. You need to wait. And it's just like he's making these questionable moves too soon a lot of the time. And I can go on about them. Sydney says, I think if the Sox are more than 6 games out by August 2nd, they'll be sellers. Sydney, do you think like total selling off, like
the white flag trade all over again?
Yeah, or are we talking about just a few guys? Like obviously somebody like Lucas Giolito would probably be traded, who's not under the contract for next year.
The rumor is that there are 2 untouchables, Robert and Cease,
which makes sense. I feel like they are the untouchables right now. And Tim would have been normally, but obviously not having a good season. So he would be on the table. I don't know, what would you get for him at this point?
Yeah.
It would just have to be a ball club who, like the Dodgers, could use a shortstop arguably, but it would be a gamble on seeing if a change in scenery would kind of propel him, or would that make things worse, because now it's like even more pressure if you get brought into a team who's competing now. That's even more pressure than batting second here in Chicago.
And then with your history, fans are going to be real quick to turn on you.
Absolutely. They're not going to put up with anything. They don't they didn't have the batting title with you and the bat flip with you and or any of those fun Tim Anderson moments that why I'm not willing to just give up on him yet. I'm not believing in him as hard as Pedro Grifol is believing in him. God,
maybe he does that because he can tell how sensitive he is.
And I
know you guys said feelings aren't supposed to be involved, but maybe how there's differentiating with learning, and so you teach people different ways.
Yeah,
he might be the one that you have to
coddle.
Hey, poo poo. Oh, you can do it, boo boo. You can do it. Hey, sweetie. Hey, sweetie, come on. Maybe he needs to be coddled, and he's trying, and he's putting it out there in the public. Like, I believe in you. See, I'm giving you.
Right.
After a while,
this is the vote of confidence.
Yes, the dreaded. But if I'm Pedro, like, okay, I've been out here, I've been rooting for you, I've had your back.
I didn't drop you in the lineup like I should have.
Right, you got to give me something. That's the attitude Pedro needs to have now. Like, all right, you got 1 week to give me what I've been giving you.
Right.
Back me up. I've been backing you up, even though I know good and well you need to be hitting 6 or 7. But I've been backing you up because you told me you needed this.
Those are some pretty hardcore words. I mean,
so
like, does Pedro have the balls like that to lay it out to Tim like that? Who knows how they are behind closed doors?
Yeah, he needs to save his job.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sydney, you're looking for the retool, not the complete buyer, white flag buyers. The retool, okay. Giolito, Graveman, Lynn. I don't know who would want Lynn. Eloy. I mean, I even was gonna say Eloy for the Cubs, kind of. You know what I mean? If they were really making a push at the division, Also, I would say Joe Kelly. is probably would
He could
be,
get you something.
Yeah, Joe Kelly would get you something battle tested,
Yeah. He could get you.
and not likely to return. This is the second
Yeah.
of his 2-year deal.
See, your other guy got put on the IL,
Kopech, yeah. We're down to only 3 real starters at this point. With Clevenger also being on the 15-day.
That's right.
So I don't know. We saw a bullpen game today with what's his name? Tuki Toussaint. Went 2 strong innings, struggled in the third, and pitched in the fourth that he had no business pitching in. Pedro. I mean, it's a bullpen game. That means you've got 3 innings and get him out of there.
You should definitely do it like that opener closer type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and there was nothing in that third inning that should have made him think that he should have sent something back there in the fourth at all. And oh my God, they had Giolito was warming up at the end.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
because they we're coming back.
Yeah. So they were like warming Giolito up as if like just to come and get an out. I mean, that's crazy for Oakland.
Wow.
All that for Oakland.
You think Pedro makes it the full year?
Oh, sorry about that. I think
hard, huh?
I think if they win something like 75, 76 games or something, yeah, I could see him being out after a year.
One and done.
Yeah, I could see him being one and done. I think it's very much possible.
Ooh.
It's very much possible. And I think to continue with a retool that he would probably need to be one and done if you're just retooling. You know what I mean? If you're white flagging it and starting over, sure, you keep him in there another year or two or let him work out his contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good.
If that was the case. But if you're just retooling, I don't think you can keep going with this guy, And it's a shame, but that's the business. So,
yeah. Real quick, you have any more Sox thoughts?
I don't.
Real quick, what do you think about NBA? Bulls.
Well, it looks like we're running it back.
I'm happy with part of the run back.
I'm glad they kept Vooch. I like the Vooch signing.
Yeah.
I'm glad they kept Vooch. I hope that they just play better. I hope they find, and I don't know, like, is Kobe White, that concerns me. The Kobe White signing. I didn't like that.
No, because they signed him to start.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Because you saw when Lonzo Ball was your point guard. I know we were beating this Lonzo Ball thing to death. But when he was the point guard, that whole group, they were the best team in the East.
Yeah.
So they have shown that they can play and be the best team in the East with a point guard.
The right point guard.
Exactly. Because a point guard is going to know how to set you up and is not going to let that ISO in bad moments.
Right.
It's okay for ISO during some points of the game. They pick the worst moments.
DeMar DeRozan.
And the fact that what is bothering me the most is that Zach is still in trade talks and not DeMar. I don't understand their thinking. You can get a lot more for
you can get a lot more for Zach.
Both. Get rid of them both.
Yeah.
And like getting Zach trading, there's been rumors that it'd be Zach going to Portland and then the Bulls will get Tyler Hero. For what?
For what?
Because Tyler Hero isn't playing as well as Zach. So they're just going to double DeMar.
Yeah. And you're still going to have your offense clogged up by DeMar.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying to get rid of DeMar, but if you had to trade one of the two, I'm going to trade the one who really can't play as well in the modern NBA.
Right.
But I agree with you with the Kobe. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I like the Javon Carter from the Bulls. That was good. But I don't know.
But it's like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing with Io now?
You're right, because I don't know if he's gotten any other contract offers.
Right.
The Bulls can match whatever he gets, I think. I didn't hear anyone else offering Kobe a contract, or they gave Io a qualifying offer. But I never heard anyone else talking about Kobe. The Bulls probably outbid themselves. And, Andre Drummond at one point was leaving, decided to come back. I'm glad he's back because so they don't have to look for a backup center because they were.
He was effective when they put him in the game when Billy decided to play him.
Right. And because they were going to whiff on trying to get a new one. I'm sad that Derrick Jones Jr. decided. I mean, he could always come back, but I'm sad that he opted out. No, he did sign someplace else. He's not coming back. I liked him. I think Billy didn't play him enough. One of the biggest problems is not Zach, Vooch, DeMar, etc. It's the fact that they gave that man a secret extension.
Yes.
He has developed no one. Kobe developed on his own with his dribbling.
Yep.
Patrick Williams is still a question mark, and Io regressed. Dalen Terry, we don't know.
We don't know.
So I know Billy is a good coach, but not here. This isn't working. And what has he developed that you gave him a secret extension?
A secret extension.
He's developed no one. Everyone regresses under him unless they go out and find their own extra coach.
Yeah.
Or they're already an established star. So Vooch, Zach, DeMar, they know how to play. So they don't need any. Let me show you how to play. They know how to play.
And we still are going to have Patrick Williams.
Yeah, we still don't know. And
yeah.
I don't see him being a star. I see him being a good player.
Who is you talking about?
Patrick Williams. I don't see him ever being a star. And they keep talking about he has the tools to be a star. He doesn't have the mentality.
He doesn't have the mentality to be. He doesn't have the heart to be a star.
Sometimes you wonder, does he even care? I'm sure he does. But sometimes he has that look and action of.
He seems despondent and unattached to the game.
Yes.
Like he's just kind of like, what? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because several games in the beginning of the game, they just kept feeding him the ball, trying to get him going. And then if he doesn't hit a couple of shots, he shrinks.
Yeah. I think you've seen about all you guys see of him, at least in the Bulls uniform. Like, hey, maybe he goes someplace else. And people keep wanting to talk about Wendell Carter Jr. Like, Wendell Carter Jr. isn't all that. Like, since he
plays well against the Bulls.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we keep going by.
And so people are like, man, look at Wendell Carter Jr. Like, he only does that against the Bulls.
Against the Bulls. He is not putting up the numbers. He is not that. I mean, the Bulls were like a top 5-10 defense. So we keep harping on what's the guy's Vooch's defense, and they do this. They're still one of the top defenses in the league. No one plays defense anyway, but they're still one of the top defenses. And then, like you said, they keep on bringing up Wendell Carter. He plays well against the Bulls.
That's it.
He let's see. He averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds. And most of that was he padded his numbers against the Bulls. He could hit threes all of a sudden against the Bulls. But yeah, that hanging on to Wendell Carter. He wouldn't have done that here. He wouldn't have done that here. Maybe he's the type who needed to go somewhere, which might happen with Patrick Williams.
And if so be it, then so be it.
Because hopefully,
for him.
Right, if you did your job, you replace Patrick Williams with someone who's better.
Right.
So,
but anyway. They're not going to do their job. And we're going to run it back.
Remember all the sunshine and lollipops when AK and Mark Eversley first got here?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Because they made some, good moves.
Yeah.
Those things are gone.
Well, and now, the chicken's coming home to roost now. All of that they gave up to get Vooch in the first place is really kicking us in the balls now. Mm-hmm.
But it all would have been okay if the Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, if the Lonzo Ball injury, he's a genius. If Lonzo Ball doesn't get hurt.
Yep.
He's the man.
And then they kept believing they never found a quality bench point guard who could pick up the slack once he got hurt.
No. They just
Like,
picked up Goran Dragic
right.
and who
Because they
didn't want to
stopped
be
playing.
here. Who
They
decided he
stopped
didn't want to
playing
play
him.
it. Yeah.
And Io's not the answer. Alex Caruso's not the answer at point guard. I don't even think that Javon Carter will be the answer.
No.
I don't believe the team will listen to Kobe White as
I
the
don't
point
believe
guard.
Kobe White is the answer.
So they still need a point guard.
Once again, so they're really running it back. Let's all keep saying. We're just gonna do this all over again. You're gonna go in with the same problems, see the same team.
We're going to see the same team that gives Vooch the ball in the first half and acts like he
And then Vooch will have 18 in the first half and then 4 in the second half. With Billy Donovan on the side, we don't need to do this anymore.
And at the time he has 18, the Bulls will be up by 16, and then they're going to lose by.
They'll lose by 4 or something. Yeah. Ridiculous. I mean, it's just sickening. We're gonna run it back.
Hey, football starts this month.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Because of the weather, I can't let myself get into football yet because it's like, no, I want to enjoy this summer.
Yeah.
And I still want to try to enjoy baseball before I have heart attacks watching football.
Plus, training camp really doesn't mean much. You could be really great in training camp and
I mean, it's always great to see the guys out on the field, and to see the uniform.
Yeah.
And so that'll be fun.
It's not exciting though, spring training.
No, it isn't.
It's more exciting when you see whichever preseason game they play at like a half. That's the only good preseason game.
Yeah.
But
preseason sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But it's like the first game to me is kind of cool because you just get to see football for the first time in months. Yeah. But then after that, it's just garbage until week 1.
Yes, and then I don't pay attention to it anymore. Yeah. I just hope no one gets hurt before.
Exactly.
That's all I'm paying attention to. Yeah. I don't care about what they're looking like because it's going to be different when they're playing against another team.
In regular game speed.
Yeah. When they can actually get hit, it's all going to look different.
Yeah, very much so. So
he connected with Darnell Mooney all spring training last year.
Yeah, and that's all you're hearing about this year with
right.
With DJ Moore. Yeah.
And then when
they're looking good. They connected again today.
Look at that chemistry.
Right.
Season starts like, where's
they're
that
playing
chemistry?
with a Nerf ball, though. It don't matter.
Yeah, I'm not falling with the banana in the tail.
No,
I don't care about all that chemistry garbage.
I don't want to hear nothing about chemistry or how good they look and with no pads on and those big padded helmet things that they're wearing now. That looks like weird to me. It almost gives me like the heebie-jeebies. I don't know why. It messes with my
oh, really?
Yeah. My phobia, my tryptos, whatever phobia.
Oh. Yeah. Is it because all the how the things are sticking out in the pads? Maybe?
Yeah. It makes my skin crawl.
Wow.
I can't have to turn away. So
hopefully, good thing they're not bringing that into the season. You wouldn't be able to watch the games.
No, I wouldn't. I hope they don't. They look like the Great Kazoo. That would be ridiculous to bring that much padding into the game.
That helmet does look like him.
Yeah. Except the Great Kazoos was smooth, so it didn't bother me.
It didn't bother you. Well, it's amazing that those pads in your studio don't bother you.
No, they don't. Not until now. You said something.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Right. All right.
All right.
Well, with that being said, go Sox, go Cubs, go Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks. The Sky, and whoever else. All right. Well, we will be back next week, and we will see when is the All-Star game? It's next week.
It is okay.
Next week, I think. Yeah. So we still got some baseball to watch. The Sox got, I think, Toronto coming into town. That's always fun.
Cubs are at the Brewers.
Cubs, who they got?
They're at Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Okay.
And then they go to New York.
All right. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you to everybody who took time out, even if it was just a few minutes, to watch us and kick back and listen to our banter. Remember, this is Plunked, but we're from the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, and we think we know shit, but we really don't.
Not a thing.
Really don't. Happy 4th to all. Be safe, everybody out there. Be careful with those illegal fireworks if you got them. Watch the digits. Watch the children. And anything else, Kristen?
No, I thank you for tuning in. Spread the word. Get your friends to tune in. Subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at
We're on
Plunked
Twitter.
Chicago.
We
Follow
sound
us.
like old people. We even on Twitter.
Get your friends to follow us.
Or just
Friends to
you.
watch us. Yeah, you continue to watch us. Check and get your friends to check us out on YouTube.
Check it out. All right.
Bye.
Peace.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.